Let's set up your invoices to send on milestones that you set. There are a couple of ways that you can do this. The first way is by setting up a payment plan for your invoices, and then you set those to be paid on milestones. And that can be anything, but you are going to set those and you're going to determine when those are sent. So you'll go into your client, you'll do a plus here and you'll create an invoice. We are going to create a payment plan invoice. So we'll click payment plan. I'm going to add in a line item here for a payment plan. For example, here when you're in your invoice, you've got your invoice here. These are your settings that are here on the left side. Whatever you're doing kind of in this main area over here on the right, the settings that you want to control that are going to be on here in the left panel. So I've got the template that I'm using. I have how long the client has to pay. I can add in a purchase order, late fee percentage. You can read all of these. I won't read them to you. To set up the payment plan, you'll swap over to this payment plan. You can choose to send it automatically without approval. You can automatically charge on the due date. Here we're going to add another payment event. So I'm going to do both of these in milestone just so you can see that. And I'm going to do 50% upfront, which of course means it's 50% in the remaining. So I will save my invoice here and I'm going to activate this invoice. So here is my invoice for my client. So let's say you come back into Moxie and you're ready, you've hit that milestone and you want to send that invoice. You'll come in, you'll go to your invoices under payment plans. So you can see here, I've got several types of invoices. This is my invoice list where I can see statuses on invoices. These are the recurring invoices that I have set up. And then these are the payment plan invoices like we just set up. So here is the payment plan invoice that I just set up, and I am ready because we've hit this milestone. You'll be able to label these as well. This one is just labeled as payment. So I'm going to say, do I want to mark this payment milestone as complete? I will say yes. So now this invoice is ready to send. And then same thing when I'm ready for that final payment, I will say, click on this milestone. Do I want to say that milestone is done? Then I can say yes, and it will create the invoice. So you'll be able to see here the date. This is what your client is going to see as well, that this milestone was completed on this day. And because I did not choose to have that invoice send automatically, here in my notifications, I have that payment plan invoice. I can see that this word payment plan, that is the project that I said I was creating. That was the line item that I added initially. 50% of that is due. Your client will be able to see highlighted for them. This is the payment that they are on. Here is the amount that's due. Once they pay that, so I'll go ahead and mark this as sent, and I'll pretend like they paid that for me. There you can see you can also send a receipt. So now I can go back into my clients and my invoices. Again, you're going to go to your client, to your invoices, and make sure you're in payment plans. So I've got this payment plan. You can see here that this amount it has been paid by the client. So I'm going to say this is you can see history here as well in your invoice. And you can see here is the amount that I have invoiced for that. So there are ways that you can do that with just sending an invoice. The other way that you can do this is in your agreements. So if you're creating an agreement and you want to set up right from the beginning that you have a payment plan, you can do that as well. You'll go into your invoice or your invoice template, and you're going to click on the Elements tab over here all the way on your left, your Elements icon. And that way you can click and drag a payment plan here into your agreement. So this is what that payment plan looks like. So here I've actually changed the labels. This one is going to be due upon signing. This is your midway check-in, and this is your final payment at completion of project. So this first one, I'm going to trigger due upon signature. You can also set a specific date. You can set a relative date. So the way you would use these is if you are sending this agreement by hand and you know you want it to be paid, let's say on August 30th, you could go in here and you could just set that date up to be on August 30th. If you wanted to do a relative date, you could say that it is 1 week or 1 month, however long you want to give them to make that first payment. That is relative to when you send this agreement. I'm sorry, it's relative to when they sign the agreement. Finally, milestone, that's kind of the one we've been talking about in this video. That's one that you're going to set manually. So I'm going to set this one on signature. And then all of my other ones here are on milestone. So when this gets created, this agreement, and your client signs this agreement, you're still going to see that invoice in the same place that we see all of our invoices. So we'll go into your clients, you'll see in your client list, you'll go into you'll go into invoices and payment plans, and you'll be able to see those again, just listed here the same way that we were listing all of the other ones. So you'll be able to see where they're at. So this one was due upon signing. Now I'm ready for this midway check-in. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm ready for this. I will mark it as ready. And then I can see I have that next milestone ready for whenever I'm ready to come back in and say that my invoice is ready. On that instance, I do have the invoice as send without checking with me. So you can see here, I have that invoice has now been sent. So this invoice got sent out to my client. So you'll be able to see that here in your notifications. You can also always go to your inbox and you can see your email log on here is that invoice that I just sent. So if you're like, I don't know, did I actually send to my client? You can see here, this one ready for approval that hasn't been sent yet because I didn't send it. This one I did have automatic send on for when I mark my milestones complete, and I can see here that this was sent, and here is what that email looks like with that invoice as an attachment.